All right, good morning. This is Ryan Eco again, and got my coffee. Good morning, and let's go. The topic I'm going to talk about today is chastity. So, the reason why I even think about this topic is one big thing is my marriage. I been with my wife ever since 2012. December 18th, 2012 is when I asked her to be my girlfriend. It's 2020, July 2020, today or now. So, man, 8 years has gone by, and we've been married for 3, going on 4 years here in about a month, and I can't be happier. And the reason behind all this happiness is a practice that we did was chastity. And it didn't happen right away. You know, within a couple of months of us dating, but in the beginning it was really just discovering it. I said in a video before that my wife was very strong. She said right up in the beginning of our dating relationship that she did not want to have sex before marriage. She didn't know about me, but she told me her opinion, and it made me have a decision. Made me make a decision whether to continue on or not to continue on. So obviously, I chose to continue on to learn more about it, but that was the beginning of my chaste life, and it was hard because very difficult because I was 24 at the time, and at at that moment in my life, I've spent past 10 years of thinking of dating and being with girls of more of the sexual side, just like I guess any other guy essentially. That's just something you do in a relationship. It doesn't have to be quick. It's not like a one night stand, but it's common. So my biggest thing was, how do I take this? How do I tackle this essentially? So the benefits of chastity is, how do I explain it? Is pure, is beautiful. My idea of it before was this taboo, like even weird. Like, why you gotta have sex in a relationship? And that's what I thought. Even as a Catholic, I gave in, I guess. I didn't really think about my religion at the time, but that's what everyone did in relationships. So when you take that away, and I'm getting more in depth now. So when you take away the sexual aspect of a relationship, whether marriage is even at a higher level, but even at dating perspective, dating level, you gotta think about other things. So what do you think about those ideas? And I'll give you my experience. What I thought about was just hearing her voice as she's chatting with me, appreciating those times when we FaceTime together or when we talk on the phone, and listen a little bit more. What does she want in this relationship? What does she like? Learn more about that person. And man, it's powerful because you're putting yourself second. In a relationship, you're really saying, how can I make this person alongside of me happy? How do I do that without the sexual aspect? And there's a lot of ways. It could be a simple trip to McDonald's and listen to her while she had a bad day, and you just literally don't say no words. And from those times, you think about more and more, like, wow, this guy is giving a lot and he's receiving not a lot, essentially. So the woman will change as well. She will learn about, okay, how do I make this person alongside of me happy as well? Let me listen to him. Let me hear what he wants in this relationship, what he thinks about the future. If we ever have opportunity to get married and have children. I want to hear what he thinks. You learn so much about it. And then little by little, that trust comes. So trust is a hard thing to have because when, I'll give you a perfect example, your guy's night out, your girl's night out, we never had that. Before, when we started dating, this was more like a transformation. My wife, my girlfriend at the time, which is now my wife, she went with her sisters to a club, like a Mexican club, and I felt a little different. And as a man, you have every right to tell a woman how you feel, but you cannot control her. So I told her how I felt, but the biggest thing that we look back at is that I gave her my opinion and I told her what I was going to do. I can only control my own actions. So I told her, I don't like you being there because I feel that it has nothing to do with trust. Being 8 years practicing chastity to this day with my wife, that whole argument of, oh, you don't trust me is baloney. You have every right to say, hey, I'm fighting for this relationship. And I know some things will get in the way. And you going to these places where we all know that it might be just a dance, but you're going there for some reason. And I'm telling you that whatever reason it is not a good reason when you're in a relationship. It's just not. It's not a coincidence that people stop going there for a little bit when they start dating someone. And then little by little, they just don't care and they start going again. Essentially, it's a cycle. But the idea of going to those clubs, going to those bars without the person you're dating is just a recipe for an argument. But again, we can't change change that person's mind. I couldn't. My wife still went that day. So what I did was, I am not going to do those things. I told her, I really don't like you going there, but hey. And she said nothing's going to happen. And yeah, there's no sex, nothing sexual happened that night. But she did say after a couple months later that she did dance with the guy and it got very physical. She got close to him. Now, is that sex? No. Is she cheating on me? No. But it's just the sanctity and the purity of a relationship that you want to respect. And again, I forgive her 100%. Even though some people may think, oh, it's nothing. But to us, it was something. And I respect her so much for her giving the opportunity to herself to say, I'm sorry. And I forgive her. Again, nothing crazy, but it's those little things that makes me feel that she cares for me. And then vice versa. I've never gone to a guy's night out, to a brother's night out, nothing. It's just not in the cards for me. Because I know those type of situations you're going to get into. And it may not, I mentioned this in my last video, and I'll say it real quick, it's from nothing at all cheating to ultimately cheating someone and potentially separating yourself from, or breaking up essentially. And people don't care about right here until they get a little closer. They go all the way over and say, oh, there's nothing wrong, and boom, why am I liking this girl? You act dumb, you act like it's just feelings time, boom, you commit that, what I call sin. You commit the action of cheating on your girlfriend or wife. If I nip in the butt from the very small beginning that, hey, I happen to see a girl, and it's going to happen. There's beautiful women everywhere. You walk outside, there's women that are in their spandex, half naked running. I can't control them, but I can't control my eyes. So even though they come into my sight, I have literally 5 seconds to decide, hey, do I want to keep dwelling on this image of this woman I've never met? The whole look but don't touch thing is baloney. the whole you can look at the menu and don't order, it's okay, or going to a strip club, it's okay. Nonsense. All those things are just damaging to a relationship. I'm telling you, relationships, well, as far as divorce rate is about what, 66, 67%. So more than, two, at least one out of two people that you see in your life are going to be divorced. I see it almost every day when I drive for Lyft, as far as divorce or second families, all these different words they have, but they're divorced, separated families. And when you see those things, the idea of fixing them is very easy. Two things. I'll talk about pornography in another video, but that's so powerful and so damaging to a family, and let alone a relationship from the very core. And strip clubs. If you take away those things, if you want to talk about banning, right now is a whole crazy canceling things here. But if you ban strip clubs and you ban pornography, I mean, I may be off, but I know it's in the billions for the pornography industry. We're talking about billions of dollars. It can be a couple billion. I never looked it up, but I know it's in the billions, a dollar industry. And people are doing it with it. Access to internet is so easy to make a porno now. It's just unbelievable. And people have kids, most likely have them. And I'm not talking about 5-year-old kids. I'm talking about 13, 14-year-old kids when they're developing in their stages of learning what they're attracted to, physical attraction, and you're throwing this in their heads, and they get confused because they see all this perverted stuff, and then when they happen to find someone that they like, they don't know how to approach it. It's very saddening. So if you take away those two things, I guarantee you that divorce rate will go a lot lower. Me coming from a business background, maybe that's what they want. Obviously, $1 billion, people are making money off of that. Strip clubs don't even get me started on the ones that are crazy, the ones that offer more than just lap dances. There are very bad ones. And again, how is that powerful to women? How is that empowering for women? That's never that we're talking about the inequality of women versus men. They've been fighting that since the late 60s, women's rights. And we'll always have this disconnect and this unequalness between man and woman until you take those two big things away. Pornography and strip clubs. Because that men put you down. That's all they think about. So going back to chastity, what that does, it combats it. I don't think of my wife or my girlfriend at the time as a sexual object. You learn, why am I going to strip clubs now? I had this big transformation. Me personally, as a man, my wife, she has her own point of view on it, and it's very similar to mine, where we're both transforming into this pure person. She was a virgin before we got married, and I wasn't. But man, I'm telling you, fast forwarding to that night of our wedding night, it felt like I was a virgin. Obviously not physically, but spiritually and emotionally, because I took all that for that past 3 years from us dating to the night of our wedding night. It was like think of data, if you will. It's going in your head. I'm not putting that bad data, that perverted data. I practice every day of not looking. I practice every day of not going to strip clubs. And guy friends ask, hey, let's go out for a beer. I say no. I may get crap, but honestly, F them. Who cares? I know what I want. And it's all about literally what you want. Also is what you don't want. I chose chastity because, one, it's totally different from the mindset of a normal society. What are you, weird? You don't want to have sex? What if your girl wants to have sex? Then you talk about, what she's going to get from someone else. Baloney. Bullcrap. If your girlfriend doesn't care about you, yeah. There's women like that. There's men like that. Yeah. Then you should break up. Simple as that. But if you really know what you want and you want to be with this person up until the idea of marriage and beyond. Because marriage is eternal. Well, marriage is forever until we pass away, until death do us part. And so that's a long time, especially if you're 20 years old, 30 years old, up until 60, 70, if you happen to last that long. That's a lot of years. So you take this into perspective. You take it seriously. That's really what you do. And it was hard. Again, it was very difficult for me to grasp that. I had to fight it every day. I'm like, man, I didn't realize how many beautiful women I encounter every day. I just let it go into my head. But if I stop looking at them within 10 seconds, literally, you don't remember. The other thing I learned about was wet dreams. I had more wet dreams because the scientists always say, it's physically and scientifically healthy to masturbate. It's okay to look at porn and masturbate. More importantly, it's okay to masturbate. I practice not masturbating. All those different things when I learned about chastity, because it's going against it is obviously any I would say any idiot, but any bozo would understand to masturbate, you have to have it hard. And how do you have it hard? You think about things sexually. So it's not like you're going to think about your grandma. If you do, you're a sicko, you need help. But you think about a porn video you saw. You think about a girl that you might like. You think about a girl that you were attracted to earlier that you never met. All these different things. You think about a position that you like. All these perverted things that we think is normal. And then boom, you do the action. You do the masturbation. And you're degrading women even in your mind. So again, all these things I'm tackling, I'm like, wow, that makes sense. And then again, the whole scientific side, they say, it's unhealthy to not masturbate. Believe me, it's going to come out. And I've experienced it with wet dreams. And I think that's the spiritual side of it, something that you can't explain, the godly side that's helping me. Because when I had wet dreams, I would have wet dreams in a bad situation, very wrong situation. And again, I can't control those dreams. It's just your brain functions even when you're not awake. But very perverted situations or dreams I would have. Wet dreams I would have, even for my girlfriend's sister, just very perverted things. But the trick is, once you are awake, obviously you remember it throughout the day. Again, it's the same thing if you encounter someone that's attractive, that you might look sexually after 30 seconds. So you have the choice to continue thinking about that wet dream or not. So that's when it becomes bad. That's when it becomes a sin. But you can't control it. And I think that's God's work. God. So yeah, maybe scientifically it works, that it's unhealthy. Well, boom, during chastity I have it. But I feel that, that it's all evil. I call it evil. People call it devil, the devil. I just call it not good. You may call it evil, the devil, whatever. I just call it not good. It's just the idea of good is pure happiness. The opposite of that is not good. Let's just keep it simple. So whenever I'm doing those good things when I'm awake, that's all that counts. And it is very difficult. Believe me, I think a man practice chastity. If you think that you're a man and you have all the women and you just sleep with women, you don't see them after a couple of weeks, I think you're a punk. I think you are less of a man. I think you're very irresponsible. I think you don't have direction in your life. I think you're not happy. You're not a happy person. You will not be happy. And the same goes with women as well, who are promiscuous. It's just 1 + 1 = 2. It's as simple as that. If you're giving all that love, that pure love that you have, and you're just wasting it, someone that don't even care about you, the same thing. And it's all about me, me, me. But when you talk about chastity, it's a serious thing. So I dare you, I challenge you, any men that are watching this, practice chastity. Start out a week. Start out, couple weeks, couple days. You will feel it after a week. You're like, damn, this is actually work. There's a lot out there. The idea of chatting with your coworkers, because if you look at the data, a lot of the percentage, highly percentage. And I don't want to. I read it, so I know it's a high percentage. I don't know what percentage. Look it up yourself. I encourage you to look up these things. I just typed Google before, but I don't have a supersonic memory. But I do know that it's freaking high percentage of people who cheat. They say that they are cheating with someone that they know or coworkers. So it's very common in that category. So think about the times when you are chatting, having a good time, put all your energy to a coworker rather than your girlfriend that asks you the same question. How's your day today? And you put all that energy into a person that you're not sharing your life with. But when you go home and you talk to her, you FaceTime her, and she asks you the same question, you're just more drained because try to say things 3 times. Or try to say things twice. You're not going to have the same energy compared from first time to second time. It's just that science. So harness those opportunities to spend time with your girlfriend. And even if you're married, same thing. Practice it. I practice chastity with my wife now because it's very simple. My wife is not an object, not a sexual object. So I think about it, and I'm telling you, when that moment comes, when you have, even if you had sex with her, most people have had sex already before before you watch this. So even at that's my situation. I've had sex before I practice chastity. I'm telling you, it will drain out everything that's just impure in you. But you got to practice. You got to do it. Just, it'll be very difficult for you in the first couple weeks. But I'm telling you, it's the most beautiful thing. It takes away the untrust, the dishonesty, are you cheating on me, doubts, all these different things. You purely trust this person. You love this person. And oh my gosh, I get so excited because we're going in, 4 years? Oh no, 5 years, 2015. Wow, 5 years. I said 4 earlier in the video. 5 years, man. See, I just feel like it's still new for us because the idea of chastity, you learn about this person, you continue to learn. So I want to share my thoughts about it because it's the most beautiful thing. And again, I challenge every man to do this with their loved one, with their partner, because no matter what stage you're in with your partner, this is the most beautiful thing ever. And again, it takes away, if you want to talk about women's rights, it's empowering women. Men are showing that women are more than just an object. And again, objectivity makes money. So if you want to look at it for the society sense, they ain't going to help you out. You're always going to watch Hollywood movies about sexual acts. Heck, I went through a transformation at that time. Part of my transformation was not watching American Pie. That was normal. We watched American Pie. Every American watched American Pie. It was funny. Stifler, what was it? Forgot the other guy's names. Jason, I think. That's Jason Biggs. But all those guys, they're funny. You watch them. And that's just one movie out of so many others that if you dissect it more, you look at it, wow, that all they talk about is sex. Majority of the movie, they talk about it. Or they show the objectivity of sex. So to me, you really have to make a big change. You almost have to say F everything else. Because if that's what you want, if you want to be with that person, that woman, you have to take it seriously. I have two sons now that are under the age of 4. And yeah, you bet you when they get older, I'm going to show them and share with them my experience. I'm going to show them why I did this. A relationship, why I'm with your mother. And that's what we have to do. That's how we change generations. Because they ain't going to change. Look at the business world. You think by making money, when women say, oh, I hate the argument when people say about strippers, oh, they're making an honest living. That's not an honest living. People do not care about you when you strip. All they care about is getting their heart on, and that's it. And I'm sorry, but I'm not with that. That is disrespectful to women. That I don't care. No money will ever. You're putting a price on your body. I'm sorry, but women are priceless. Women are priceless. You cannot put a price on women. And that's what women do. And it's sad because even women think about it and they agree with putting a dollar amount on their body for the sake of making money. And I'm sorry, but that's not right. And they know it. They will know it. So I don't have to convince anyone. The moments when they're alone, the moments when 10, 15 years from now, believe me, those personal moments will put stress on you. And I don't want that. So I don't want that for any woman to do. No money is worth taking your dignity away. It's just not. And then us guys think, oh, it's just entertainment. She likes it. It's okay. We get on board of saying, so it's just bad. Again, not good. And same thing with, keeping the whole idea of pornography as well. I'll talk more about that in a separate video, but yeah, it's the same thing. And again, chastity combats all that. Chastity throws all that out and say, I'm going to be with this one person. I'm going to learn so much. And again, you don't change the woman. When your partner sees you making these changes, it's going to make her think. Or you're with one woman that is a true jerk. There's many jerks. There's men and women that just don't care. That says, what's in it for me? I won't say the person, but there's a friend of mine that been with a girlfriend. This is very common. Been with the girlfriend for about 3 years, and he chatted with me, and he basically says, I would really want to leave, but it kind of sucked for work, and then with the whole coronavirus, he kind of stayed there for a couple months, and now it's getting better, and now he just left her. But she had two older kids. He lived with them. He shared his life with her, and she generally loved him. That's what's crazy about it. These less than men who do not take responsibility, who do not say the truth and say, okay, I know what I want or I don't know what I want. They just stay. They're like parasites. And it's very sad because you're ruining someone. You're taking that time away from that person that she feels that she's sharing with you. So that's the other thing about chastity. Well, I'll talk about the communication side of it in just a second, but just to finish this story about my friend is that he's a jerk. He left her, and he would say, yeah, she's calling me, she loves me, all that. Like, he doesn't even care, and that's wrong. You know how much damage you will give to her? We talk about women being strong and everything, but they are being damaged. That's why we're saying being strong, because they're getting crapped on. So again, chastity changes it. It's a real game changer. And I encourage every man to do this. Every woman that's watching this, talk about it to your partner about it. I'm telling you, it's the most beautiful thing, but it does come with difficulty. Because you're basically saying the past, 10, 15 years of your dating ideas in your head, or what's cool, what's not cool, what's normal, what's not normal, all that you got to throw away. It's wrong. But it's hard for people to say that they're wrong. It just is. And people who are watching this are not Catholic or not religious. Do it because you're a good human. That's really what it is. That's what I love about Catholicism is that, if you take the whole idea of Catholicism away, just change the name and put the same practice, it's just being a good human. But we distort everything. We think of it as bad because it takes work and we don't want to do it. So that's a whole other story about putting down Catholicism. But yeah, I mean, if you are religious, look into it. Why? That's what's beautiful about any religion, from Buddhism to Hinduism to Christianity to any of your tribal, small, indigenous religions. All of them have one common thing. Drum rolls. One common thing is marriage. They put it to the highest level of sanctity, of holiness, of just divine, and that's a good reason for it. So same thing with Catholicism. We take our marriage very seriously, but we protect it, and we're not going to change it, because how can you change what's good? I mean, I'm all for progress and I'm all for change for the better, but if something's good, why would you want to change it to something else? So there's some things you do not change. And that's why I love with chastity. Chastity, once you practice it, like we have done, you don't change it. It's kind of like respecting your wife. Why would you want to change it just because it's the sake of time? No, you always respect your wife. That's never going to change. You always love your wife. You learn different ways to love your wife. Those little things change, but the idea of loving your wife, and if you change things that contribute to not loving your wife, why would you want to have that? It just don't make sense. So I'll leave it at that, but the last part is the communication. Man, if you want to talk about couples, that's one of the big reasons why divorces happen. They just don't know how to communicate. If you talk to any therapist, that's the biggest thing. Hence, that's why they're there as therapists, because they help communicate. I feel that my wife and I, it opens us, with chastity, it opens the opportunity to chat, to communicate, to see, again, from the very beginning, how do I make this person happy? Well, number one is listening. So when you do those things around the house, we have rolls in the house. Not bread rolls, with butter. Texas Roadhouse had good rolls. Anyways, when you have rolls in the house, a person will make fun of her outside this house. Her main role is doing the dishes, doing the laundry, and taking care of the house and taking care of the kids.